so many people will say to me, and they might say the same thing to you, and I want to communicate better. And if I try and scratch the surface and really ask people, what do you mean by communication? They often mean things like, I want to give a better presentation. I want to be able to influence people more. I want to have more impact. And I'll sort of listen to them for a while, like anything else. But for so many people, when they talk about wanting to improve their communication, they mean bleh.
Yeah.
What happens is I send messages out into the outside world. But very few people, when they think about their communication, are thinking about what are the messages that I take in, whether that be what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing or, what I'm feeling on the inside. And I think you're absolutely right that communication is so important.
Hallo zusammen, willkommen bei der neuesten Staffel und das ist nämlich die 3. Staffel von Coffee with Saskia. Wir haben hier ein Power Lunch, das ist mit Avocado und Trauben und Walnüsse. Und genau so einen Power Lunch habe ich jetzt gerade gehabt, und zwar mit der Suzanne Weeks, die als Business Coach arbeitet und aber Englisch redet. Das heisst, ich tue jetzt auf Englisch wechseln, damit ich mich auch ganz toll mit Susan unterhalten kann. Und natürlich zusammen wir einen Kaffee trinken. Welcome, Suzanne Weeks on Coffee with Saskia.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I just have one, and I just told the people that we had a power lunch together right now.
We certainly did. It was fabulous.
And it was amazing. And thank you so much for the wonderful salad, the wonderful place that you have here. Thank you that we can make the Coffee with Saskia with you, because you are an interesting person. She is a business coach and I think tell me what? What you are doing? What you are doing in your life?
What am I doing in my life? Well, professionally, in my life, I am involved in executive coaching, leadership development, and executive education.
So, female leadership, kind of.
Actually, female and male leadership. Leadership in general. And the part that's really important to me is to think not just about what's the best idea and how do we conquer the business world, but how do we bring the people with us? Can we humanize leadership to make work an enjoyable place to be? Can we get the same results, but can we enjoy that journey?
So that it's not just a fight on the workplace. And you...
exactly.
You told me something very interesting. You told me it's so important to listen to each other. Not just that you know what you want, to listen to each other. Can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that is least appreciated and undervalued is our time and our attention. In some ways, the most valuable resource that we all have is our time and our attention. And if we think, whether this be in our personal life or a professional life, we don't really give somebody our undivided attention very often. We may be having coffee, but we're also making lunch or making 3 phone calls or scanning through our phone at social media. So I think in our actual lives, listening is really important, and being present to others. And in the business world, I think so often we don't really listen to each other, so we don't quite understand each other, we miscommunicate, we don't end up with the same idea of what's going to happen.
Right.
And then that's just a car crash waiting to happen.
And then you jump in and try to make kind of a bridge between the people, right?
I can definitely be a bridge between the people. And if you sort of go back to what are some of the things that I really, really believe in, one is this whole idea of be yourself, but with more skill. Don't pretend to be somebody else, but can you be yourself and the best version of you? And I stole that phrase from Rob Goffey, who comes from London Business School. But I also think there's something about, how do I show up? How do I show up has an impact on the people around me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that impacts their behaviour, their attitude, the results. And Declan Fitzsimon has done a lot of work and a lot of teaching around this idea of how do I show up. And I truly, truly believe in it.
And you have someone that you, like an idol or something, that you say, oh, wow, this coach or this person inspiring me a lot in the past or right now, or you are on this point in your life that you say, oh no, right now it's me, I'm my own inspiration?
In some ways that's a difficult question, because I'm sure you have this in your life as well. There are so many people who have touched me and inspired me in many, many ways. But if I had to single out one person, and I don't actually mean if I had to single out, I want to single out one person who in many ways I have learned more with, I've learned more from, I've learned more because of him. And that would be Giampiero Petriglieri, who's a professor at INSEAD right now.
Okay. And you had some class with this person, or
I first met him as a colleague back in 2006, and then I was a student
in the
past. And then in 2006 I was a student of his. I was in some of his classes. He's been a friend since 2006, and we've been working together since 2008, and we continue to work together.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's not just me who finds him inspiring. There are many other executives throughout the world who benefit a lot from what he does, what he teaches, and the way he sees the world.
Okay. And what is about you, how you see the world? What do you think is something that you feel or that you do to get inspired, and to have, when for example, you stand up in the morning, you feel it's a little bit heavy energy, so not every day is the same, not every hour is the same. But what do you do to change that? Especially when you know, oh, today I have some business schedule, I don't like them that much. We have all these things in our life. So what are you doing then?
That's a great question. What do I do then?
You have some rituals, or you just go for a shower, or a power lunch, a coffee.
Not every coffee gets to be with Saskia, but definitely a coffee, or the English part of me, a cup
or
of
a tea. Yeah,
a cup of tea is also a very good thing. No, I think when I have things to do that I don't particularly enjoy, I try and reflect on, well, why is it that I don't enjoy it? Is it about the content, or is it about the people, or is it about the way that makes me feel? And is there something in that I can change to make it more enjoyable, or to make it something that either they can learn from or that I can learn from? And the things, very often I think there's a way in which not everything may be enjoyable, but if I can learn something for it, then it wasn't for nothing. If they might learn something or develop, then that feels like my time was well spent. But in those times where I feel I just don't enjoy it, and I come home exhausted, and I feel like nothing changed, and I wasn't heard, or nobody wanted to engage, those are times when I get that feeling of, life is too short. There's a limited number of coffees in the world, and I want to invest my coffees in places where I can get energy. I think for me, doing great work with great people, and being able to make a difference, that's the sweet spot. So and if any of those are missing,
that makes sense for you and for your impact, or for the people around you. So the same I do with when I'm writing something or some songs, or I did these workshops for the music souling. So I go in a coffee store that inspiring me, or that have a good vibration, and then I start to work there. Or that I have the feeling it lifts me up a little bit, even when I have maybe not the perfect day, but what is a perfect day? You can make it to a perfect day. So that's what I think is you coaching yourself up, and I do the same. And I think that is a great view of the situation sometimes, because sometimes you just have to reframe And I think that is a very good point for the audience, that they have some ideas. And you said already, you're from England.
I am English, yeah.
And can you think, guys, I did the mistake that I asked her if I can put some cold water in her hot tea. No, never do this. So I learned that.
Exactly. We go.
So I'm sorry again that I want to, because I was thinking maybe it's too hot, but a tea is never too hot for an English person, right? So
absolutely
that was totally
not
my fault. So,
but it was a lovely moment of connection.
Yeah, right. So because I want to help you that you not get burned. But I was not thinking that is not the way you do it in England. So I'm so sorry I'm so sorry for that.
But I thought that was a lovely moment of humour, actually,
right.
Where you took my tea to go put some cold water in it, saying to me, I'll put cold water, and I was utterly horrified. I know.
It could be a sketch.
But it's, if you think of where we started our conversation today, I think that's a great example of what we were talking about when people don't listen, don't pay attention to each other.
Yeah, right.
If you just put the cold water in my tea, it would have been different, and that would be those cultural differences that you think you're doing the right thing from good intentions.
Right.
I then have a cup of tea that is frankly dreadful.
Right.
But it comes from a place of good intentions, and I think that was a wonderful example of what you've been talking about, which is how do we bridge the differences and come together? How do we find it work for everyone in the room?
Right, and the real magic word is communication, right? Otherwise, it all is a mess, kind of.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that I have really, really come to see and believe so much more over the last few years is, so many people will say to me, and they might say the same thing to you, and I want to communicate better. And if I try and scratch the surface and really ask people, what do you mean by communication? They often mean things like, I want to give a better presentation. I want to be able to influence people more. I want to have more impact. And I'll sort of listen to them for a while, like anything else. But for so many people, when they talk about wanting to improve their communication, they mean, bleh.
Yeah.
What happens is I send messages out into the outside world. But very few people, when they think about their communication, are thinking about what are the messages that I take in, whether that be what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing or, what I'm feeling on the inside. And I think you're absolutely right that communication is so important. And we forget that what comes out of our mouth.
Just speak and don't think what is the meaning or the deeper meaning or what is the feeling from the other side, kind of. And I think music is a very wonderful communication instrument, kind of. So the voice, of course, the piano from Mikey. So that what we do is intuitive music, kind of. So we feel the energy of the people. And then Michael starts to play and I close my eyes, and then the lyrics comes in step by step, and it's the song for this person in that moment. And we can do it twice. That is a kind of communication in the moment, and it's just for the moment. And what we learned the last 10 years, that we are around the world with our concerts, sometimes music souling, sometimes normal concerts, sometimes on parties or in a stadium, of course. In different countries, so from Mumbai to Oman, of course, Switzerland, so all different countries, and they are very different in the nationality and in the, how you say, rituals, kind of.
In the rituals and in the culture.
In the culture, that was the word that I looking for. But when we start to talk about music and to open our heart to these people, even I don't speak Arabic until today. I understand a little bit, but I can't speak. Arabic, they start to ask or to listen or to be friendly and to. So the music was always the bridge for us to other cultures, to other experience. And the thing that I always tell the people in the workshops, in the concert, make your own experience. That is so important, because you cannot, so many times I have to say, whew, that was better than I thought. Because I did the experience, I saw, oh, it was not that awful, it was nice. Or, oh, that was awful, it was not that nice. So, but when you do your own experience, you can grow.
Absolutely.
Some days ago, a young female artist asked me about, she sent me a song and asked me about, what do you think about this? And it was her own style, her own lyrics. And I said, I don't give you a judgment. I don't do this. I'm really proud of you that you did something from your own experience. That I see something in, it was because of relationship, it's okay. That I see your pain is coming out, or your thoughts about this relationship. So that is so important. So make your own experience. I think that is for your workshops, or to communicate in the workplace that you give your workshops, very important too, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's something that we don't always take into account. You know, if I think of people coming to one of your concerts or one of your workshops, you may have 4,000 people in the concert arena, and they've all sat through the same concert. But what it means to each person and what they take away and why they remember things and why they touch them, that's going to be different for every single person.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's where there's a huge overlap between where what you do and what I do is, you know, that sense of the concert may have been the same, or the speech or the class may have been the same, but what people hear and what it means to them can be so different.
Yeah, that's right. And then we just can hope that they do the best of it, or that they transform what they want to transform, because at the end it's up to you. Nobody can do your steps for your goals. Is there any goal that you have a little bit in the future, or any plans that you want?
You know, I think one of the interesting things about getting older is I feel very fortunate for the people that I've met and the life that I've had and the family that I've had to go with it. And as I think forward, in many ways, I don't have plans for my children, but my hopes are very much for, you know, health and happiness for my children, whatever that turns to look like in their family life and their professional lives. You know, that they be happy, that they also be able to make a difference.
Yeah.
And my plan would be to live as long as I can to support them in that, and to support them and other people that I care about.
Yeah. Do you have a good advice for our audience, from your heart, for the goals, what they want to reach, or is there something?
Yeah, maybe I break that down into three pieces and repeat something I've already said, but then add something at the end. I mean, one would always be yourself.
Yeah.
But with more skill, because it's by being yourself that you can be authentic, you can be your most natural. I think the second part of that would be in this communication, that the communication is very much what you take in and how you take it in, as it is about how you speak. And you just made me think there about, you know, who do we care for? What's really, really important to us? And I think if I were to give another simple piece of advice that links to your work is, it's easy to care about many people, and I think it's really important to care about many people. Yeah. But the number of people that I care for, that's very, very different. That's a tiny number.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I can care about you without needing to care for you. That's exactly as you're saying, caring for you, taking your own steps, that's your job. Yeah, but I can care about you.
Yeah, right.
And I do, Saskia. I do care about you. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I have the 3 questions for you. Just quick answers.
Okay.
So, the Everything Cat did it this time. This is Everything Cat because he they want to be everything and they can be everything that they want. So, and there's a friend of the unicorn because, you know, the unicorn normally is a gift for your cat, but she don't like it. She don't like the unicorn. So
she likes her tea bag.
Yeah, the tea bag. Maybe we can put them together. And
exactly.
Then. So, question 1. When you that's a good question, right?
Clearly, this is going to be a good question.
The best. So, when you could choose which planet you would be?
Oh, absolutely here on Earth. I think there's so much rich.
No. If you are the planet.
Oh, if I'm the planet, Venus, love.
Venus, love.
Love.
Okay, that was fast. Love in the air. Okay. Second, English question. Which tea you don't like?
Lapsang Souchong tastes like an ashtray.
Well, what is that?
Lapsang Souchong?
Is that a green tea kind of?
No. It's a black tea, but it tastes like an ashtray. It's got a real smoky flavour to it that I really don't like.
Okay, so there are different black teas, right?
Oh, yes.
Wrong field.
Earl Grey,
Okay,
very,
Earl
very
Grey.
good. Lapsang Souchong, terrible.
Okay.
In my view.
Okay. And last one is, which scene of Harry Potter you like the most? Is there one? Did you saw the movie?
I do. I think what I really like is when Hermione Granger is talking to Ron and telling him he has that his entire emotional intelligence would fit on a teaspoon. And she compares how much emotional intelligence he has to a tiny little teaspoon. And I think even in the school children and everything that happens, that reminder that emotional intelligence and how we communicate is important is one of my favourite scenes.
Okay. And so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time.
And I know that's why all the magazines are here. Your hobby is to be in the kitchen and do some great food. We did it together a little bit. So we had a very yummy dal with a lot of spices. So you use your spices in the kitchen.
Yes, I use my kitchen.
You use your kitchen, and I think on the weekend you will try some other recipes.
Oh yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much as well.
Like the recipes of life, so you have to bring different things together, like communication, be yourself, trust your heart, follow your flow, and never give up. That makes the great meal of all. So thank you, Suzanne Weeks, for your time, and I hope you had a wonderful time at Coffee with Saskia, and we wish you all the best.
And I very much look forward to the next cup of coffee we have together. I hope this is this may be a very special coffee with Saskia, but I hope there are many more coffees together in our
Thank you.
life.
So yes, of course, and I'm happy to have a coffee with you or a most amazing tea. So thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. Have a wonderful time and take care of your heart, and thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.